Crimson Peak is an upcoming film directed by Guillermo del Toro and written by Del Toro, Matthew Robbins and Lucinda Coxon. The film stars Mia Wasikowska, Jessica Chastain, Tom Hiddleston, Charlie Hunnam, and Jim Beaver. It will be produced by Legendary Pictures and distributed by Universal Pictures. The film is scheduled to be released on October 16, 2015. Synopsis: set in Cumbria, in a crumbling mansion in a largely rural and mountainous region of northern England in the 19th century, young author Edith Cushing discovers that her charming new husband Sir Thomas Sharp is not who he appears to be. Cast: Mia Wasikowska as Edith Cushing, Sophia Wells as young Edith. Tom Hiddleston as Sir Thomas Sharp, Edith's husband, a charming hero with a mysterious past. Jessica Chastain as Lady Lucille Sharp, Sir Thomas's sister. Charlie Hunnam as Dr. Alan McMichael, a quiet, shy, thoughtful kind of stoic, taciturn, very learned guy who is madly in love with a female hero. Jim Beaver as Carter Cushing, Leslie Hope as Mrs. McMichael, Alan's mother, Bern Gorman as Holly, Javier Batet, Doug Jones, Emily Coates as Eunice McMichael, Maisha Jacket as young Eunice. Production, pre-production. Del Toro and Robbins wrote the original spec script after the release of Pan's Labyrinth in 2006. It was sold quietly to Donna Langley at Universal. Del Toro planned to direct the film, but postponed the project to make Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and again to work on the Hobbit films. Langley suggested that Del Toro produce the film for another director, but he could not find one he deemed suitable. While directing Pacific Rim, Del Toro developed a good working relationship with Legendary Pictures' Thomas Tull and John Jashnai, who asked what he wanted to do next. Del Toro sent them his screenplays for a film adaptation of At the Mountains of Madness, a Western adaptation of The Count of the Monte Cristo, and Crimson Peak. The producers deemed the latter the best project for us, just the right size. Universal allowed Del Toro to move the project to Legendary, with the caveat that they could put up money for a stake in the film. Del Toro called the film a ghost story and gothic romance. He described it as a very set-oriented, classical but at the same time modern take on the ghost story, and said that it would allow him to play with the genre's conventions while subverting their rules. He stated, "I think people are getting used to horror subjects done as found footage or B-value budgets. I wanted this to feel like a throwback." Del Toro wanted the film to honor the grand dames of the haunted house genre, namely Robert Wise's The Haunting and Jack Clayton's The Innocents. The director intended to make a large-scale horror film in the tradition of those he grew up watching, such as The Omen, The Exorcist, and The Shining. He cited the latter as another Mount Everest of the haunted house movie, praising the high production value and Stanley Kubrick's control over the large sets. British playwright Lucinda Coxon was enlisted to rewrite the script with Del Toro in hopes of bringing it a proper degree of perversity and intelligence. Benedict Cumberbatch and Emma Stone were originally cast but both dropped out of the production. Tom Hiddleston and Mia Wasikowska took over their roles respectively. The film is titled under production as Haunted Peak but Legendary Pictures assured that the film's title has not changed, the title is only the one being used for the studio booking. In the summer of 2013, Bern Gorman joined the cast for a cameo role. At the beginning of October 2013, Jessica Chastain went through a full-body cast process for the film. She posted pictures on her Facebook of her getting her head, torso, and fists cast. In October 2013, Fernando Vilazquez signed on to compose the film's score. It was also announced that Colin Green, John Jashnai and Thomas Tull would help produce the film. Filming, principal photography began in Toronto at Pinewood Toronto Studios on February 10 and ended on May 14, 2014. On April 28, filming began on Queen Street South, between Main Street and King Street in Hamilton, Ontario. That section of roadway was closed to traffic and covered in topsoil to assist in the look of the setting. The Gothic-looking Scottish Rite building to the west will figure prominently. Filming also took place in Kingston, Ontario on April 14, 2014. On January 30, 2014, It was announced that the film would be released on October 16, 2015. Promotion. At the San Diego Comic-Con International on July 23, 2014, Del Toro helped create props for the Legendary Pictures booth by allowing fans to walk through snow-covered gates, and a gallery of props from the set and costumes from the film, including a bloody knife and moth print in the wallpaper that spells out the word fear. References. External links: Crimson Peak at the Internet Movie Database.